Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking. For you, the returning subscribers, thank you so much. And if it's your first time stopping by, my name is Jacinta. Thank you so much for clicking. So guys, today we're going to be talking about the interviews here in Germany. So we're going to be talking about BFD, the social work stroke apprenticeship, the Ausbildung interviews, because I feel like those things are just the same. Interviews, guys, you all know interviews have got that thing where like you're always nervous, you're always scared to go for those interviews. And the number of people have come into my DM and they've asked me like, how is the interview done, about BFD, about everything that they've asked me. So if you want me to also talk about the interviews for au pair, because they're a little bit different, let me know in the comment section. But then today we're just going to be talking about the apprenticeship and the social work, because I feel like those things are almost the same. So let's go into the video. So the first thing that I want to talk about, because a lot of people still ask me, maybe because I speak in English here on the channel. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the interviews, the work and everything. When you come in Germany, everything is spoken in German. So your interview is going to be in German language. So this is the first thing that you should take note of. So if your German is not that good, just know that you need to pull up your stockings and do that, because you're going to be asked all this, you're going to do this interview in German language. Doing a BFD, the social work, and doing the apprenticeship, they all require you to send them a CV, to send them the motivation letter. So this is why now it comes into the interviews. So you've already sent your motivation, you've already applied, and now they've accepted you, and now they are inviting you to go for that interview. It can be online, like for example, if you're back home, you're applying, they can also call you for interviews online. Even if you're here, they can also call you for online. So it can be online or physical. You're there in the office and you're doing this interview. Who are going to be interviewing you? Most of the times, it's the person who's going to be employing you, your boss. It can be different people. Sometimes there can be two people. Sometimes it can just be one person. In my case, for apprenticeship, it was just one person who was a principal. Normally, there had to be like two people with my teacher, but then that day she was not feeling well, so it was just the principal that did my interview. But otherwise, also like for my BFD, two people were interviewing me. So do not be scared whether one person or anything like that. Just calm your nerves and let's go into how this interview is going to move, like smoothly. It should be moving smoothly. So the first question that they're going to ask you is, wer sind Sie? Who are you? Definitely you've sent your CV, they've read it, they know who you are, but they want you to explain nicely. For you there in the interview, you're going to explain who you are. How are you going to respond to this question, who I am, who's Jacinta? To respond to this question, I'm going to talk about who I am, who's Jacinta, how old is she, where is she living right now, you know, all those kind of things. And I will also like talk about whether I've got kids, whether I'm married, you know, all those things. I know they have them in the CV, but they want you also to like talk about them when you're in that interview. And mostly the second question that they'll ask you, you can cover it in the first question, but sometimes they'll also ask you, wie lang sind Sie in Deutschland? How long are you in Germany? So you are going to talk about how long you are in Germany, or maybe sometimes like if you're not already in Germany, of course they won't ask you that question. But if you are here in Germany, they are going to ask you that question, and then you're going to talk about how long you've been here. The second question that they're going to ask you is, wie sind Sie hier gekommen? Like, how have you come here? Like, how was it to locate the place? So you're going to like tell them, I came with a train, I came with a bus, or you walked, or anything like that. Another question that they're going to ask you is, wie haben Sie uns erfahren? Like, how have you gotten to know about them? This question they normally ask because they want to find out how you got to know about this school, how you got to know about this campaign. So you are going to like tell them whether you saw it in the internet, whether you saw it on YouTube, on Jacinta's channel, or maybe through a friend, through family, but make sure If it's through a friend, make sure they've got a good record so that you just don't put yourself in the bad books. But yeah, so just be careful on how you tackle that question. The other question that they are going to ask is, warum sind Sie uns entscheiden? Like, why have you decided to go for this company, to go for this school? And why have you chosen to do nursing? So this is why, like, you go about, let's say if this company is just specified in old people or just specified in kids, you're just going to talk about your experience working with kids. Let's say you are an au pair. You'll talk about why you're so passionate about working for kids or maybe helping old people, you know. So this is why I've decided for this. I love nursing from the time I was young. I'm so passionate about helping everyone, helping people, working in health and stuff like that. This is what they want to hear you talk about. Another thing that they can also ask you is, woher kommen Sie? Normally they ask this question, where do you come from? So I'll talk about, I come from Zambia and we speak this kind of language. We've got different languages. We also speak English and stuff like that. Or maybe you come from a French speaking country, and then maybe if at all the interviewer can speak that language, maybe they'll also make a joke about it. It's just like a bond, trying to open up, trying to make you feel comfortable, you know. You just have that space to just open up, talk about everything. So you just have to talk about the things that are selling you out, you know, like talk about the good things about you. Don't try to boast, don't try to talk so much, but try to talk about the relevant things that can help you in this interview so that they can pick you and they do not deny you. The other question that they are going to ask you is, haben Sie Erfahrung von der Pflege? Do you have experience in nursing? So they are going to ask you this question. So if you already did BFD in nursing, or maybe back home, like I said, other things that you already did, you can also mention them to say, or if you do not have any experience, please just be truthful, say you do not have experience, but you look forward to working in this and giving it the best, so that you know this is what you want to do. So they all know, okay, she doesn't have the experience, but she wants to do this with all her heart. But if you've got the experience, make sure you mention all those things. If you did your BFD, if you did your au pair, or just other experiences that you did in your lifetime. So the last thing that you can talk about when they're asking you why nursing, after you've already responded everything like, I'm flexible, I really love this job, I want to help out people, it's my passion and everything like that. At the end, you can also talk about nursing is one of the biggest marketable job that I want to do, because even afterwards it won't be hard for me to find a job. But this response is just a support from this other thing that I've just talked about. You can't just start saying because it's easy for me to find a job. It's like supporting after you respond to the other things, to say yes, nursing, anywhere you go, you're going to find a job as a nurse. So the other question that they are going to ask you, which you have to really respond well, is, why are you qualified for this position? Why are you qualified? Why should we pick you? Why you're out of everyone? This is the most asked questions in every interview. So this is where now you talk about your studies, like what you've studied before. You also talk about your experiences. Sometimes it also helps just like to talk about, let's say I was doing volunteer at back home and then I got an award, you know. It doesn't matter what kind of award. They would see like you really work hard. For you to get an award, it means you're really working hard. So just try out to sell yourself out. And then you can also talk about like you're flexible. You can also talk about like, I'm able to manage my time, you know. Timing is very, very important. Also like you're dedicated to your job, you know, you're dedicated to your job. Even under stress, you're able to work. Talk about maybe you were stressed at the other job and how you overcame that stress where you were working. Talk about also your good communication skills. You know, good communication skills also helps a lot. Talk about how good your communication skills is. Talk about how effective you are with your job, you know, like you're always on top of things, you're able to do everything. So like I said, you know, apprenticeship has got work and school, so you just have to talk about how effective you were as well, so that they know like, okay, she's not just talking about the school part, she knows like work, she's going to be making sure she does her work effectively and she just has to get this position. So the other question that they will also ask is, wer liegen Sie Ihre Stärken und Schwächen, like your weaknesses and strength. So this is the other question that they are going to ask. For your strength, you can always talk about how good of a team player you are, how flexible you are, you know, you're a fast learner, all those things, and make sure you are really responding according to how you wrote your motivation letter, your application letter. Try by all means to always connect it and make sure you're not lying. Make sure you're just like open, tell the truth and nothing but the truth. So about your weaknesses, you can talk about, maybe I'm too curious, like inquisitive. I'm too inquisitive, and maybe people have a problem with that. But make sure your weaknesses, you cover it up with your strength, so that you know you're not just talking about the bad things about you. You like, I'm not saying you lie, but you're just trying to cover it up with your strength. So the last question mostly that they are going to ask you is, haben Sie Fragen? Do you have questions? Please, most of the time, because we are so scared or want to be nice, we just want to say no. Most of the time for the interviewer, once you have questions, they feel like you've got an interaction with them. Make sure you ask maybe something that you did not understand, or maybe, I don't know if it's a good thing, but you can also talk about accommodation. Ask them if they've got accommodation or not, or maybe ask them like, here at your workplace, how many people, like at the school, yeah, at the school, how many people, like let's say you enroll 30 people, how many, like, do you have the records, how many remain there? Or maybe how many nurses do you produce at the end of the studies? You know, that is also a good thing. Make sure you read about their history. And what I did not mention at the beginning is, mostly of this interview has got two parts. That's got schriftlich und mündlich, written and oral. Like, you're just going to do those two things, and most of the time for the written, it's not so difficult. Sometimes maybe like mathematics, you can do some mathematics. Sometimes maybe there will be just like a summary, like there will be a text and then you summarize it to your kind of understanding. It comes in different forms. Make sure you read, you research before you go for the interview, and then afterwards, when you pass that written, and then you're now going to do the oral, like you're going to do the interviews, and just be relaxed. Like, so that's what I had for you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to give the thumbs up so that it can be recommended to other people to get this information. And come into the comment section. Let me know if you've got any tips, if you've got any questions. I'm so happy to interact with you guys in that comment section. Till next time, guys.